Indian history, as you may be informed as well. And in ancient Indian history, we'll first discuss about the major sources to understand ancient Indian history. Because first of all, just understand, clear? As far as ancient Indian history is concerned, it is largely based on concrete sources and evidences. Everything has been discussed based on sources. Nothing can be said without sources. Clear? So history is a pure scientific discipline based on evidences and sources. Anything which is said beyond sources is a mere fiction. Clear? This has become more important these days because many rhetorics are going related to history that does not have anything related to sources. Clear? So it has become more important, first of all, to understand the sources of ancient Indian history and then to proceed to discuss about ancient Indian history starting from prehistorical phase. Clear? Now, first of all, we need to understand ancient Indian history has been broadly divided into three phases based on sources only. Clear? The earliest phase of ancient Indian history is known as prehistory, which is largely based on archaeological evidences without any literary evidence. Clear? Then prehistory is followed by another phase with literate tradition, which is known as proto-history or the earlier part of history. Clear? Proto-history is that phase for which we have written records, but those records has not been deciphered yet. Clear? This phase is known as proto-history. Clear? For example, the Indus Valley civilization, which has a script known as pictographic script that has not been deciphered yet. Clear? Then proto-history is finally followed by historical phase when we have a definite literary tradition in India, which is largely supposed to start with arrival of Aryans in India. Aryans who came to India, they brought a definite language to India and they started to compose Vedic hymns. Clear? This resulted into a language known as Sanskrit. Their history is largely based on this Vedic literature and that marks the beginning of historical phase. Clear? So based on sources only, ancient Indian history is broadly divided into prehistory, proto-history and then followed by historical phase. Clear? Since prehistory, the earliest part of human evolution, is largely based on archaeological evidences and sources, we need to understand those sources and then subsequent sources to understand how human being began to evolve, what technological progress began to take place, how society began to take modern shape that continues till contemporary times. Clear? So history is about the story of human evolution from the very beginning, their technological advancement, and that can be understood only through the materials used by them, the sources used by them, and these are the basic sources even to reconstruct ancient Indian history. Clear? So first and foremost thing to be understood in ancient India are the major sources. Once understood, it will become very easier to proceed with ancient India from the big phase of prehistory, proto-history and then finally historical phase. Clear? First of all, as far as sources of ancient Indian history is concerned, these sources are broadly divided into two categories. Clear? Broad classification. One is known as archaeological sources, another is known as literary sources. Clear? Archaeological sources mostly important for prehistory and proto-history. Clear? Literary sources mostly important for historical phase. Clear? And when we come to literary or archaeological sources, what are the major components of archaeological sources? Clear? There are three broad components of archaeological sources. These three components are known as artifacts, which are the first one. Second are coins, also known as numismatics, and third are known as inscriptions or epigraphy. Clear? So under archaeological evidences, we have to largely focus on artifacts, coins, and then followed by inscriptions or epigraphy. Clear? These are the three major things. Will come within the classification of artifacts also, epigraphy also, as well as coins as well. Clear? Then we'll go to the literary evidences. We'll discuss about the major literary sources as well. Clear? First of all, the broad classification, then we'll write about those major components as well. Clear? Write a brief introduction first. Clear? Write history of ancient India. Write a brief history first. History of ancient India. Ancient India. Clear? Then write the subheading as the sources. Sources of ancient Indian history. Clear? These sources are broadly divided into archaeological sources, and then we have literary sources. Clear? Archaeological sources are broadly classified again into artifacts, then classified into, after artifacts we have large number of coins, and then we have large number of inscriptions. Clear? These are first of all broad classification of archaeological sources, then we'll go to literary sources. Clear? We are starting with ancient India. We are discussing about sources for ancient Indian history. Clear? Right, introduction. Clear? Right, history as a discipline. History as a discipline. As a discipline is purely scientific in nature. Is purely scientific in nature, based on concrete sources. Based on concrete sources. Clear? Right. In order to understand ancient Indian history, the sources are broadly classified. The sources are broadly classified into archaeological and literary sources. Into archaeological and literary sources. Archaeological and literary sources. Clear? Now just understand. We'll come to classification. Don't worry. Clear? How the science of archaeology began to develop in India. What are the major concepts related to science of archaeology? Clear? Science of archaeology started in India when British authority who was ruling over the country began to construct railways in India. Clear? Railways were constructed by British in India. While laying the railway tracks in the northwestern part of India, they found a large mound. Clear? In order to demean the importance of the mound, they declared the mound as Mound of the Dead. Clear? Therefore, at this time, no excavation was done. This site later on came to be known as the large city of Mohenjo-daro in the northwestern part of Indian subcontinent. Clear? Since this was discovered while laying the railway tracks, demand was raised for establishing some institution to conduct science of archaeology in India, to know about India's past. Clear? This resulted into establishment of an institution known as the Archaeological Survey of India in 1861 by British officer Sir Alexander Cunningham. Clear? From here, science of archaeology began to develop through institutional support. Clear? In course of time, due to lack of funding, this organization could not be very effective. It was again re-established properly in 1902 by another British expert, Sir John Marshall. Clear? From here, the science of archaeology began to develop. Now understand some concepts here. Clear? When science of archaeology began to develop in India, digging beneath the surface of the earth began to take place. This digging of the surf beneath the surface was done in two format. Clear? One is known as the vertical digging, another is known as horizontal digging. Clear? Vertical digging is cost effective. So most of the time British went for vertical digging beneath the surface. Clear? Horizontal digging is more expensive in nature. So less and less horizontal digging was advised or rather promoted by British in the country. Clear? When they went for horizontal and vertical digging, large number of objects began to be found. These are known as archaeological sources. Clear? These archaeological sources are divided into artifacts, coins, and inscriptions. Clear? How do we define the word artifact? Clear? Any tool, any implement, any object which is made through human workmanship without involving any machine, without involving any mechanical device. Such objects are known as artifacts. Clear? So artifacts are those materials or objects which were manufactured by the people through their own hands. Clear? Without involving any mechanical device. Clear? Large number of artifacts began to be found. The most important being tools and implements made by them. A large number of potteries began to be found. Large number of other materials began to be found, like terracotta figurines of mother goddesses. Clear? These objects began to be found, and these are all known as artifacts through vertical and horizontal digging. The next challenge was how to associate these artifacts with human beings in the past, how to fix the date, how to fix the chronology. Clear? Apart from these artifacts, coins, inscriptions, human skeletons began to be found, animal skeletons also began to be found, and the next challenge was to correlate the age of these skeletons with the artifacts found. Clear? And for this, the experts applied a scientific technique which is known as carbon dating method. Clear? Carbon dating method was applied in order to calculate the years of humans and animals found through the science of excavation. Clear? What is this technique known as carbon dating method? Clear? Whenever any creature exists, clear, he or she consumes carbon from atmosphere at a fixed pace or at a consistent pace. Clear? When the creature dies, the accumulated isotope of carbon decomposes at consistent pace. Clear? Half of the accumulated carbon decomposes in 5568 years, which is known as half-life. Clear? If you go on multiplying 5568 years with the amount of carbon left, you can calculate the age of human beings through skeletons. Clear? By applying the carbon dating method, when skeletons were found, these skeletons began to be connected with artifacts, coins, and inscriptions, and we began to fix perfect chronology and sequence of all these materials to know about the sequential development of human beings right from prehistorical phase. Clear? This way history started to be written in India, reconstructed in India based on scientific techniques and based on material remains found through digging, that is vertical and horizontal digging. Concept is clear first of all. Clear? How the process began to take place. Write the evolutionary process first. Clear? Right, next paragraph. The science of archaeology. The science of archaeology. Archaeology. The science of archaeology started in Indian subcontinent. Started in Indian subcontinent during British rule. Indian subcontinent during British rule. British rule. Clear? Right. A major institution to be established. The major institution to be established by the British, to be established by the British was the Archaeological Survey of India. ASI was the Archaeological Survey of India in 1861. In 1861, by a British expert, by a British expert, Sir Alexander Cunningham, by a British expert, Sir Alexander Cunningham. Sir Alexander Cunningham. Okay. That due to lack of funds, due to lack of funds, ASI could not work. Due to lack of funds, ASI could not work efficiently, could not work efficiently. Okay. Right. It was re-established properly. It was re-established properly. Shall I repeat? It was re-established properly in 1902. In 1902 by Sir John Marshall. By Sir John Marshall. Okay. Change paragraph. Right. ASI started Archaeological Survey of India. ASI started digging beneath the surface, digging beneath the surface, digging, DIGGING, digging beneath the surface to find material remains, to find material remains. Clear? Right. The digging was largely vertical, was largely vertical, and to some extent, largely vertical, and to some extent, horizontal. Vertical is cost effective, largely vertical, and to some extent, horizontal. Horizontal means unearthing the entire thing en masse. Clear? And to some extent, horizontal. Clear? Right. Digging, several archaeological remains, several archaeological remains were found. Archaeological remains were found which are broadly classified, as artifacts, which are broadly classified as artifacts, coins, and inscriptions. Artifacts, coins, and inscriptions. Clear? Inscription. This one thing. Coming to carbon dating method. Change paragraph. Clear? Right. In order to associate human beings, in order to associate human beings with archaeological remains, human beings with archaeological remains, carbon dating method was applied. Carbon dating method was applied. Okay? Right. According to this technique, the accumulated carbon isotope, the accumulated carbon isotope decomposes decomposes at a consistent rate, decomposes at a consistent rate after the death of creature, after the death of creature, death of creature, clear? Like half of the total carbon isotope, half of the total carbon isotope decomposes in 5568 years, decomposes in 5568 years, which is known as half-life, which is known as the half-life, half-life, clear? Right, by multiplying this figure, by multiplying this figure, the age of skeletons can be, the age of skeletons can be calculated, can be calculated. Clear? So we can fix the artifacts also, we can fix the archaeological remains with human and animals. Clear? This is the technique that has been applied. Clear? At the same time, coming to this archaeological remains, very important one. Clear? Artifacts, they are very important one. Artifacts are the objects made by human beings with their own effort, manually, without involving any mechanical device or machine. Clear? These artifacts, depending on the material used, clear, are further subdivided into three categories. Clear? These artifacts largely are, first of all, stone artifacts made by stone materials. Second class of artifacts is known as terracotta artifacts. Terracotta artifacts are those artifacts made by mud and clay. Clay. And then we have third kind of artifacts made from metals, also known as metal artifacts. How do we know the age of artifacts? Clear? Age of artifacts cannot be known because they are solid thing. Clear? But wherever these artifacts are found beneath the ground, clear, adjoining those areas in the same layer, we have large number of graves also, large number of burials also. Clear? When human beings are found at the same layer along with these artifacts, clear, we can fix the age of human beings by applying carbon dating method. And since these artifacts are found at the same layer, clear, in fact in some burials we have found these artifacts also, because dead bodies were also buried with some artifacts like potteries. Clear? So by linking the age of human beings or human skeletons by carbon dating method, and we can fix the age of these artifacts as well. Clear? This is the way of going with historical digging, by fixing the age of creatures with the artifacts found at the same layer, at the same subsistence level. Clear? This is the way of fixing the age of artifacts. Clear? That is why we had discussed carbon dating method. Clear? Artifacts in turn, depending on the material used, are divided into stone artifacts, terracotta artifacts, and then we have metal artifacts. Just understand first. Clear? When human beings began to evolve, the earliest evidence of human beings come from a phase known as Ice Age. Clear? When Earth's crust was covered with thick layers of ice, climate was really harsh at that time. Clear? People, when they began to evolve at this time, the people needed some materials to hunt larger animals so that they could consume their flesh for survival and existence. Clear? Food production was not known, agriculture was not known. They found only large animals in their surroundings. Large animals only can survive in such harsh climatic conditions. Small animals can not survive. Clear? Even human beings were more than 10 to 12 feet height. Clear? And they needed some tough materials to hit on those animals, to kill them and to consume their flesh in turn. Clear? They began to search for some materials. They found large number of stone boulders around their areas. They began to use the stone boulders to hunt larger animals and then to consume their flesh in course of time. Clear? When they began to use large number of stones, they began to give desired shape to stone implements so that hunting of animals may become easier. Clear? And what they did was they began to strike the stones against each other so that outer layers are removed and stones become with sharper edges, so that with sharp edges animals could be hunted in single go. Clear? They produce stone implements like hand axes. They produce implements like cleavers and choppers. Clear? Hand axes are basically kulhari. Clear? To hunt animals with ease. Clear? Cleavers are basically to separate the skin of the animal from the flesh. Clear? Choppers are basically to divide the flesh of animals into smaller pieces which could easily be consumed. Clear? So according to the necessity, they began to give desired shape to the stone implements. They produce implements like hand axes, cleavers and choppers. Clear? We have found all these material stone implements along with the skeletons of human beings right from prehistorical phase. Clear? So first major artifacts which were produced by human beings, these artifacts were of stone, also known as stone tools, and therefore this culture was also known as Stone Age culture because their lifestyle was largely depending on stone implements used to hunt larger animals. This was one thing done. Clear? In the process of digging, we have found along with stone implements terracotta objects also. Clear? Terracotta relatively soft thing which is made through mixing mud, clay and water. Clear? And terracotta objects began to found. The earliest terracotta objects are potteries found. Clear? Potteries began to be made by the people to store some valuable items, especially food grains, when they began to practice agriculture. Clear? So large amount of potteries has been found along with human skeletons. Clear? Apart from potteries, clear, in course of time people began to produce terracotta figurines of mother goddesses. Clear? Large number of such mother goddesses has been found from Indus Valley civilization, and from there we come to know mother goddesses were worshipped by people of Indus Valley civilization. Clear? So religious practices and beliefs of the people can also be known through terracotta objects found through vertical and horizontal digging. Clear? This is two things. Third important thing to know about the past is known as metal artifacts. Clear? The first metal to be used in Indian subcontinent, this metal was copper. Clear? Copper was found from the western part of Rajasthan from the Khetri mines. Clear? In course of time, people even learned the technique of mixing the alloys of copper and tin to produce a hybrid object known as bronze. Clear? And in bronze, they made many artifacts. Clear? One of the major artifacts in bronze is an image of dancing girl found from Indus Valley civilization, which reflect their culture, lifestyle, ornamentation, and so on. All these informations coming from metal artifacts. Clear? So we can know about their economy, we can know about their subsistence, we can know about their religious beliefs and practices, we can know about their major cultural dimensions through these artifacts found through archaeological excavation, and these are in form of stone, terracotta and metal. Clear? This has been found, and we have to rely on these things largely because people didn't develop the art of writing. Clear? So we have to rely only on archaeological evidences to reconstruct the history of prehistory and proto-historical phase. Clear? Three forms of artifacts based on materials used: stone, terracotta and metal. Clear? Very important objects found to reconstruct ancient India. Clear? Right, next here, artifacts are objects. Artifacts are objects made by human beings, without using any mechanical device, machines, without using any mechanical device. Human workmanship without involving any mechanical device. Okay? Like the artifacts are broadly divided. The artifacts are broadly divided into three categories. Based on materials. Based on materials. Okay. Right. The earliest artifacts were made of the earliest artifacts were made of stones, primarily to hunt animals, primarily to hunt animals. Okay. Right. Stones were given desired shape. The stones were given desired shape of tools and implements, desired shape of tools and implements to hunt animals, to hunt animals. Like some example, like for example, hand axes, choppers, and cleavers. Hand axes, choppers, and cleavers. Hand axes to hunt, choppers to separate the flesh, and cleavers means to separate the skin from the flesh. Hand axes, choppers, and cleavers. Clear? Right. In course of time, in course of time, stones were used. Stones were used to make human sculpture. To make human sculpture as found during Indus Valley civilization. Sculpture as found during Indus Valley civilization. Mohenjo-daro, we have a bearded image of a statue of a human being. Clear? We'll come to that structure. Stones were used for human sculpture as well. Clear? All this has been found intact till contemporary times. Clear? Right, next paragraph. Clear? Through archaeological excavations, through archaeological excavations, terracotta artifacts are found. Terracotta artifacts are found made from mud and clay. Made from mud and clay. Okay. That the earliest example of terracotta artifact are potteries to store food. Potteries, Potteries, potteries to store surplus food grains. Potteries to store surplus food grains. Which indicate practice of agriculture. Settled life, practice of agriculture. Clear? Right, next, clear? Terracotta. Sculptures of mother goddesses are found. Terracotta sculptures of mother goddesses are found, which indicate their worship as fertility goddesses. Plants are shown growing from embryos, which indicate their worship as fertility goddesses. They were worshipped to maintain the fertility of the soil for agriculture. Clear? Terracotta figurines of mother goddesses. Clear? Chain paragraph. Right. Artifacts of metal. Artifacts of metals are also found through digging. Digging, D-I-G-G-I-N-G, digging, clear? Right, the earliest metal to be used, was copper, and in course of time, bronze was produced. By mixing copper and tin. Bronze was produced by mixing copper and tin. Okay. Copper and tin. Right. Sculptures of dancing girl. Made of bronze. Sculptures of dancing girl made of bronze has been found from Indus Valley civilization. Clear? Now what does it indicate? Clear? Just understand. Clear? Objects are not important. What informations we get? Clear? Through stone artifacts we come to know about the lifestyle of the people. The people were in hunting and gathering stage. Clear? What does potteries indicate? The life became settled and sedentary and agriculture began to be practiced in course of time. Clear? What does metal artifacts indicate? Clear? Prosperity came and women began to go for higher sense of ornamentation because dancing girl was shown with large necklace around her. She shone with glass bangles on her hand. She used with properly combed hairs. All this indicate prosperity, sense of ornamentation, which began to prevail because of economic stability. Clear? So life started as hunters and gatherers. Clear? Life got transformed into settled and sedentary life marked by economic prosperity, which is indicated through artifacts found through scientific digging. Clear? In this way, we have used the sources to understand the evolution of human beings right from the Ice Age till the modern times. Clear? These are the importance of artifacts found through archaeological excavations. Clear? Write 2 sentences related to importance. Clear? That all these artifacts, grain, I'll let you know. Clear? Write first sentence, 2 sentences. All these artifacts indicate the evolution of mankind, from hunting and gathering stage, to settled life, with practice of agriculture. This is the way we understand history. Clear? Practice of agriculture. Fine. Now question is clear. Which was the first grain to be cultivated, produced by the people in Indian subcontinent. Okay, fine, clear. The first food grain to be cultivated by the people in Indian subcontinent was wheat. Clear? Wheat was cultivated for the first time. The earliest evidence of wheat come from a place known as Mehergarh in the Baluchistan region, which is presently located in Pakistan, which was a part of Indian subcontinent. Clear? Wheat was the first crop to be cultivated. Wheat was followed by other multiple crops like barley, maize, peas, and even mustard also. Clear? Rice was cultivated much later. Clear? Rice was not cultivated initially. Even Indus Valley civilization was marked by dominance of wheat cultivation, not rice cultivation. Clear? And reasons are quite obvious. Clear? Rice is a water intensive crop which can be cultivated only in waterlogged regions. Clear? When people shifted to the middle and lower Gangetic plains, they found waterlogged regions because of Ganga and its tributaries. Clear? And that is why people shifted more to rice cultivation in course of time. Clear? So to understand history, we need to have a fair idea of geographical phenomena also. Even now, in the Indus plain and even the rich states of Punjab and Haryana, clear, we largely produce wheat. We don't produce rice largely. Clear? Rice is still being cultivated largely in waterlogged regions like eastern Uttar Pradesh and Bihar, or in the Andhra coast, or even in northeastern belt of India, drained by river Brahmaputra and other rivers as well. Clear? So rice requires waterlogged regions which can be cultivated only in the water heavy dominated region. Clear? Wheat is a crop which indicate or which requires dry climatic condition, which is largely prevalent in northwestern part of Indian subcontinent. Clear? And earliest evidence of agriculture comes from northwestern plain, that is Baluchistan region, and the earliest evidences of wheat. Clear? Rice came much later. Wheat was followed by barley, maize, sesame, peas, mustard. All these were crops were cultivated during Indus Valley civilization as well. Clear? So understand, the first food grain to be cultivated was wheat. Clear? When potteries began to made, earliest potteries were made with handmade potteries. Clear? Not wheel turned potteries. Clear? Earliest pottery was handmade potteries where some evidence of food grains are found, especially wheat. Clear? Later on, wheel turned potteries were made and the pottery culture began to take place in India, starting with potteries like BRW, OCP, PGW, and finally NBPW. Clear? These are series of potteries which began to be made largely to store food grains. Clear? In course of time, potteries were also used to store coins. Clear? Because coins also began to be circulated. The study of coins is known as science of numismatics. Clear? We'll come to another archaeological source, that are coins found through excavation. It's clear about food grains. See, history is logical. You don't have to mug up things. Clear? Understand how things began to develop. Clear? First of all, place yourself in that scenario. Clear? If anyone is there in the ice age, clear, all the earth's crust is covered with ice. Clear? There is nothing to survive. How will you survive? By killing animals found in the surrounding. What do you need to kill animals? Obviously, the stones found in the surrounding. With those stones, you cannot hunt animals easily. You have to give desired shape to the stone implements. You start hitting the stones together so that outer layers get removed, sharp edges get developed. So to hunt animals with ease. Clear? You started with that practice. Clear? In course of time, we'll discuss. Fire was discovered. The flesh of raw animals, clear, they began to be cooked in the fire, and that made the survival more possible. Fire resulted into protection from harsh cold climatic condition. People began to protect themselves from cold climatic condition. In course of time, global warming started from there. Ice began to melt. Climate became warm and humid. New areas got exposed, and in these new areas, they began to find new animals. For new animals, they began to manufacture new stone implements. Clear? It's a gradual process. It just understand, place yourself how human beings began to evolve. Clear? In course of time, when people were hunting, clear, They also began to practice agriculture. Incidental example of agriculture comes from Mehergarh. Clear? Plants or saplings were shown growing. Women began to protect those saplings, and it was found these saplings can produce food grains in turn, which can be consumed for survival. Clear? And therefore they began to place saplings in surrounding area. Large amount of food grains began to be cultivated, and now people began to practice agriculture on large plain areas of Indus Valley, that led to surplus agriculture produce. When surplus agriculture produce takes place, you need some items to store surplus food grains. You began to produce potteries. Clear? In course of time, production became so massive that potteries were not enough. People began to construct granaries. Clear? And we have evidence of granaries from Indus Valley civilization. This was the way people began to evolve. Clear? When huge amount of surplus food grains began to be generated, what will happen? Clear? Most of the people will divert towards non-agriculture activities because food security is established. Clear? When people shift to non-agriculture activities, they focus more on trade and commerce. When you focus on trade and commerce, what do we need? Medium of transaction. That medium of transaction is always coins. Clear? People began to produce coins for the first time in order to promote trade and commerce. That resulted into urban centers. Urbanization began to take place in India. What is the definition of urban center when now? 75% of the people must be engaged in non-agriculture activities. Clear? But all this happens when surplus agriculture produce is generated. Clear? So this was the gradual process through which human beings began to evolve. The history began to be reconstructed when began to find these objects associated with human skeletons. The age of human skeletons being decided through carbon dating method. It's a gradual process. Clear? Everything goes like this. Clear? You need to understand by placing yourself in that scenario. Clear? Then come facts and figures. But most important thing is context. Is the context clear? So one is now the coming to coins. Clear? Just understand first of all. Clear? The study of coins is a separate scientific discipline which is known as science of numismatics. Clear? This science of numismatics is equally very important for knowing the past traditions of human history. Clear? The earliest evidence of coins which has been found from Indus Valley civilization. The reason is people began to use large number of seals. Clear? Seals were made by the people again through terracotta. These seals were used for normal transaction within Indus Valley civilization. Clear? But seals are not termed as pure coins because seals were used only for domestic transaction within Indus Valley, not for external trade with contemporary civilization like Mesopotamian civilization. Clear? So we don't consider seals to be truly coins in India. Clear? The real circulation of coins started from 5th century BC when another urbanization took place in Middle Gangetic Plain. This time with abundant production of rice. Clear? First urbanization with abundant production of wheat. Second urbanization with abundant production of rice in Middle Gangetic Plain. Clear? And there they circulated the coins for the first time, which were known as punch marked coins. Clear? Certain symbols were punched on these coins. These coins were made of copper and silver both, and these coins were largely used for commercial transactions. Clear? How do we use coins as historical source? Clear? First of all, by looking into coins, we can understand economic prosperity. We can understand the level of trade and commerce at that point of time. This is one thing. Clear? Politically also the coins are important. Why? Because till the point the coins were circulated of any ruler, we get to know about their territorial frontier. Clear? As soon as the circulation of the similar coins ended after a certain point, we realize the rule of that ruler ended with that level, meaning thereby coins is directly related to the sovereignty of the ruler. Clear? So sovereignty of a ruler is coterminous with the circulation of the coins in geographical region. So coins are important not only for economic history, coins are important to know even about political history as well. Clear? There's just two things. Second important thing I'll let you know, which is very important in history. Clear? some coins are also used to know about political war and victories in ancient India. Clear? Because whenever a ruler defeated another ruler, clear, first of all his coins were restruck. Clear? On the one hand, the ruler's name was continued. On the other side of the coin, the name of victorious person was re-inscribed. That indicate restructuring of coins indicate victory of one ruler over another ruler. For example, clear, there was a ruler in Gujarat known as Nehpan. He was a Shaka ruler, clear, and this Shaka ruler was defeated by Satvahan ruler Shatkarni first. Clear? He restruck the coin thereafter, and after restructuring the coin, on the one side he left the name of Nehpan. On the other side, he got his own name inscribed, that is Shatkarni first, which clearly indicate Shatkarni first defeated Nehpan, which is indicated by restructuring of coins. Clear? So numismatics are important to know about past tradition by looking into the minting and restructuring of coins in ancient time. This has been used largely as archaeological source, which is known as science of numismatics. Is it clear the utility of coins? Clear? Right, next paragraph. Clear? The second major archaeological source, the second major archaeological source are coins, and the study of coins The next major archaeological source are coins, and the study of coins is known as numismatics. Numismatics is known as numismatics. Right. The coins are important to know. The coins are important to know. The economic prosperity, trade and commerce, economic prosperity, trade and commerce, and even political rule. Okay. Right. Rule, R-U-L-E, political rule. Okay. Right. Indus Valley civilization, circulated large number of seals, for domestic transactions, not for external trade, for domestic transactions. Okay, right. However, the first coin to be circulated, were the punch-marked coins, during 5th century BC, second urbanization, during 5th century BC. We'll come to all these phases during 5th century BC. Okay. Right. Certain symbols were punched. On these coins. Made of copper and silver. Clear? Change paragraph. Clear? Right. The coins were used were used to pay salaries. The coins were used to pay salaries to officers and soldiers. To officers and soldiers. Like, for example, Arthashastra, very important work. For example, Arthashastra mentions Kautilya. Arthashastra mentions the range of salary in Mauryan Empire. Mention the range of salaries in Mauryan Empire from 60 to 48,000. Lowest salary was 60, highest was 48,000. From 60 to 48,000 panas. Panas are punchmark coins. Clear? 48,000 panas. What does it indicate? Range of bureaucracy. Clear? Right. This range indicate large number of officers maintained. Large number of officers maintained by Mauryan emperors. Maintained by Mauryan emperors. Okay. Very important sample. Okay. Change paragraph. Coins also indicate the victory of. Coins also indicate the victory of a ruler. Victory of a ruler through reimposition of his name. Through reimposition of his name. Restructuring of coins. Reimposition of his name. We have two examples in this category. Clear? Right. For example, a Satvahan ruler. We'll come to all these dynasties. For example, the Satvahan ruler Shatkarni first. The Satvahan ruler Shatkarni first defeated the Shaka ruler. Nahpan. Defeated the Shaka ruler Nahpan and reimposed his name. On Shaka coins. Reimposed his name on Shaka coins. Clear? That's one example. Second example, which is very important. Clear? Right. Moreover, when Rajput ruler Prithviraj Chauhan, Prithviraj Chauhan was defeated by Muhammad Ghori. Muhammad bin Sam was defeated by Muhammad Ghori. The name of Muhammad Ghori was reimposed. The name of Muhammad Ghori was reimposed in the coins of Ajmer. Chauhan was ruler of Ajmer. Reimposed in the coins of Ajmer, which indicate Prithviraj Chauhan continued to rule for some time with support of Muhammad Ghori. Clear? Coins have been found at Ajmer, clear? So coins indicate political victories also, coins indicate trade and commerce also, coins indicate political sovereignty also, clear? These are valuable sources, archaeological sources to reconstruct the history of ancient India. So artifacts then accompanied with coins, clear? Apart from this, just understand, clear? The most authentic and the most valuable archaeological source to reconstruct ancient Indian history, these are in form of inscriptions, clear? In fact, inscriptions are also known as lifeblood of history, clear? They are sustaining force of history. Why? Because inscriptions are largely written on solid rock surface on the walls of temples. Once written, it could not be altered. So they are in its original form without any alteration. They are considered to be primary source to reconstruct ancient history, and therefore inscriptions are termed as lifeblood by historians. Clear? The study of inscriptions scientifically is known as science of epigraphy, clear? And since it is the lifeblood of history, we need to discuss about inscriptions elaborately. We'll be using these inscriptions when we discuss ancient Indian history, clear? Just understand the beginning of inscriptions in India, clear? Inscriptions began to be inscribed in India for the first time by the greatest ruler of ancient India, Ashok, clear? In fact, greatness of Ashok lies in talking to his subject through his rock inscriptions, clear? Large number of these inscriptions are still found throughout the length and breadth of Indian territory, clear? Now, what are these inscriptions, clear? Ashok got all his inscriptions written in form of royal proclamation or royal orders, clear? Those inscriptions which contain the order of rulers, these inscriptions are known as edicts, clear? So inscriptions and edicts are different, clear? Any person who write anything on the rock surface becomes an inscription, clear? But if anything is written by a royal ruler as a royal order, clear, then this becomes as edicts, clear? So Ashokan inscriptions were royal orders and therefore they are known as Ashokan edicts, clear? All Ashokan edicts are broadly divided into three categories, clear? These are known as 14 major rock edicts, 14 minor rock edicts and 7 pillar edicts, clear? And in all these inscriptions, Ashok got his message written in Brahmi script and Prakrit language, because this was the language which could easily be understood by masses, clear? Even though Sanskrit was the oldest language, Sanskrit remained confined only to Brahmins, clear? Common people could easily understand Prakrit language. Ashok got all his inscriptions written in Brahmi script and Prakrit language, clear? But in the extreme northwestern part of India, some of his inscriptions are written in Kharoshti script and Aramaic language, clear? This is an Iranian script and language. With this script, the people were more acquainted in northwestern part of India. So in inscriptions like Manshehra, Shahbazgari, clear? In Kandahar, he got inscriptions written in Kharoshti script and Aramaic language, which was the common language of the masses. Otherwise, in the entire Indian subcontinent, he got the inscriptions written in Brahmi script and Prakrit language, clear? He became the first ruler to talk to his subjects directly through inscriptions, clear? But how we come to know about these inscriptions, clear? We didn't had any idea about these inscriptions, even though we found them in different places of Indian subcontinent, clear? This mystery was resolved by an officer of British East India Company, James Prinsep, clear? The reason is, in all these Ashokan inscriptions, Ashok is not mentioned by his name, clear? Ashok is largely mentioned by a title, clear? This title in Prakrit is known as Dev Nam Piyadasi, which means dear to God, close to God, clear? But no one knew Who was this? Devanam Dasi till 19th century. Clear? Ultimately, the mystery was solved by James Prinsep in 1837, who declared that Devanam Dasi is same as Ashok, the ruler of Mauryan Empire. And how did he correlate this thing? Clear? Some inscriptions of Ashok in southern part of India, especially at Maski in the region of Karnataka. Clear? Then places at Nittur, Udgolam, he is mentioned by his name Ashok. Clear? By correlating the information of these inscriptions with the major inscriptions in northwestern and northern part of India, James Prinsep identified Devanampiya Dasi, none other than Ashok of ancient India. This unfolded a whole new chapter of ancient India, and we came to know about the greatest ruler of ancient India, that is Ashok. Clear? So inscriptions enables us to know about policies of Ashok, the most important policy being principle of Dhamma, whereby he wanted to unite large and heterogeneous section on the principle of tolerance and harmony. Clear? We come to know about Ashok only through his edicts or inscriptions. Clear? Very important one. 7 pillar inscriptions also. The most important pillar of Ashok, known as Ashok Stambh, located at Sarnath near Banaras, which is surmounted by 4 lions on the top. Clear? And the top part of this Stambh only has been adopted as state emblem by Government of India, which contains a line from Mundak Upanishad, Satyamev Jayate. Clear? Truth alone triumphs. This is Ashok Stambh, this is Ashokan pillar at Sarnath near Banaras. Clear? These were major inscriptions inscribed by Ashok. Clear? Since then, the trend of inscriptions started in India. We need to discuss all the inscriptions because they are the lifeblood of history even till contemporary times. Clear? After Ashok, clear, the next major phase that started in Indian history is known as post-Mauryan phase. Clear? So Mauryan Empire, when it declined, it was followed by smaller dynasties and kingdoms known as post-Mauryan phase from 2nd century BC to 3rd century AD. And in the post-Mauryan phase, several inscriptions began to be written all across the country. Clear? We have some inscriptions in western part of India, we have some inscriptions in eastern part of India, and we have some inscriptions in Deccan also. Clear? This phase is very important for inscriptions. We'll come to the inscriptions of some major rulers in post-Mauryan phase. First being Ashok. It's a lifeblood of history, the most authentic source for reconstructing ancient India. We know about Ashok only through his inscriptions. Clear? We don't have much literary evidences available. It's clear. First of all, the third thing, that is inscriptions. Clear? Like the third major archaeological source. Please. Mesopotamia. Clear? See, it's a very valid thing. You all should understand. Clear? We had discussed as of now that seals were used in Indus Valley civilization till now. We have discovered as many as 2000 seals. Clear? Most of the seals were square in shape. We'll come to this. In fact, seals were the greatest artistic creation of Indus Valley civilization. Clear? On some of the seals, we have depiction of a male god also. This male god surrounded by animals has been identified as Pashupati Mahadev, or the god of animals. Clear? Very important one. Clear? Seals were largely used for domestic transaction in Indus Valley civilization. Seals were not used in external trade with Mesopotamians. Clear? First of all, why? Clear? See, there is no major intrinsic worth of these seals. Clear? In ancient time, when coins began to be circulated, coins were judged with their intrinsic worth. Intrinsic worth means weight of metals. Clear? Higher the weight of metals, higher was the value of coins, and that coins could purchase more amount of commodities. Clear? So coins in ancient India were judged because of its intrinsic worth or the weight of metals. Clear? Not by any other thing. Clear? The first gold coins to be circulated with highest worth was by Indo-Greeks, and the coins with highest metallic purity were circulated by Kanishk in India, that is Kushan ruler. Clear? So coins were valued according to weight or intrinsic worth. Clear? But what was the intrinsic worth of seals? Why do we don't consider seals to be the first coins? Clear? Because seals did not have much worth. It was made of mud and clay. Why will Mesopotamians surrender their valuable items like lapis lazuli, their other valuable items for mud and clay? No one will do that. Clear? Because they need some hard metal for that. Clear? And therefore external trade was based on metals. Clear? We had to give metals, but we didn't give metals also. Clear? External trade with Mesopotamia was based on barter system. What was this barter system? We gave abundant amount of food grains. We took some valuable items from Mesopotamia in exchange because we didn't have metal currency. So why will Mesopotamians accept mud and clay from us? So trade was based on barter system. Clear? But since flourishing trade was there between Indus Valley and Mesopotamia, exchange of goods and services was going on through maritime route. Some exotic materials from India also went there. Some materials came from Mesopotamia also to India. Clear? And therefore some seals of Indus Valley reached to Mesopotamia. Just to show, these are the medium of transaction in Indus Valley civilization, not for trade. Clear? Some unique things came from Mesopotamia also, not found in India. The most example being pot filled with rice, clear, which has been found at Lothar. Clear? And as we all know, rice was not cultivated in Indus Valley. There's a site in Gujarat where we have found bones of horses. Clear? And horses were not breeded. These items came from Mesopotamia. Clear? So we exchanged some unique things between them, even though it was not a normal thing. Clear? So some seals of Indus Valley are found in Mesopotamia also, which went out of curiosity, not as a medium of exchange. Clear? Because why will they exchange valuable items with mud and clay? There's no point. Clear? So trade with external trade was based on barter system, but internally among the cities of Indus Valley like Mohenjo-daro, Harappa, Rakhigarhi, Banawali, we traded with seals. Clear? We paid certain amount of seals, we purchased certain items. Clear? So seals were used only for domestic transaction. Clear? Seals obviously could not be used for external trade. Clear? And why seals were accepted domestically? Because the best part with Indus Valley was ruled by class of merchants uniformly. Clear? And these class of merchants only began to circulate the seals under their own name. Clear? So obviously all of them accepted the rulers and they began to accept the authenticity of these seals. So domestically they use seals for commercial transaction, but quite obviously seals cannot be accepted outside. Clear? So these seals were not used for external trade. That is why we say that seals were not the real coins. Real coins in India were punch mark coins because they were metal coins. Metals made of copper and silver. Now these coins could be exchanged. Medium of exchange. Animal motifs. They were not tampered in between. Obviously not, because the reason is clear. Most of the seals, even though found in major cities of Indus Valley, clear, these seals were largely produced under a common command in Mohenjo-daro. Clear? So they were made in Mohenjo-daro. And therefore, I'll let you know. Clear? These seals were also, why they were not tempered? Clear? These seals were made or marked by some highly respectable creature, so that even erasing those scriptures was considered to be against religion. Clear? Who will alter the sculpture or image made of Pashupati Mahadev? It was to be unreligious in nature, or rather against religion. No one ever tampered. Another important thing I'll let you know. Clear? Many of these seals contain an imaginative animal known as unicorn. Unicorn means having only one horn. Clear? It was considered to be a mythological animal. No one even dared to touch this thing. Clear? So they were considered to be very pious thing. They were considered to be religious symbols. Clear? No one ever dared to tamper those religious symbols, and this was accepted all across Indus Valley. So all of them readily accepted these coins having Pashupati Mahadev, these coins having basically unicorn. Clear? So they were easily used as domestic exchange. They were never used in outside. Why will they respect Pashupati Mahadev and unicorn? Clear? And do understand That is why I'm discussing about coins. In medieval times also, clear, when Turks came to India, Turks also began to circulate coins. In fact, I'll let you know, when gold coins also began to be circulated by Indo-Greeks for the first time, what they did was, clear, to avoid tempering of the coins, they rather inscribed images of gods and goddesses on these coins. Now, who will temper with that? Clear? No one will do that. Clear? Later on, at the same time, similar religious symbols began to be shown. When Turks also established the rule, they also circulated coins. What they did? They took the verses of Holy Quran, they inscribed the verses of Kalma on those coins. Clear? Again, they are respectable. No one dare to alter those kalima inscribed on those coins. Clear? This was done deliberately. Why deliberately? Because obviously, no one will dare to tamper the coins. So tempering was not done largely. The religious significance. Clear? This has to be done. Clear? So tempering could not be done. And all these were coins made just through intrinsic worth, not on face value. As of now, what is the currency we use? We use currency on face value. What is the value of a piece of paper? Nothing more than that. Only a governor's, RBI governor's commitment, bearer of this amount, a rupee will be given 200 or 500. Clear? Specimen signature is there. If that specimen signature is not there, what is the value? It's a piece of paper. We have shifted from intrinsic coins to face value. Clear? And this is also not a new thing. This was done in medieval India by Muhammad bin Tughlaq. He came with idea of token currency. Clear? At that time, it did not work. As of now, we are practicing coins on face value. What is the intrinsic worth? Nothing. Clear? So you need to understand why these symbols. These symbols were religious. So none of them try to temper. Clear? So coming to inscriptions. Clear? Right, next, the third major source to reconstruct ancient history, are inscriptions, which are considered to be the lifeblood of history. History survives on this, which are considered to be lifeblood of history. No tempering could be done. Lifeblood, BLOOD, life sustaining, lifeblood of history. Okay, right. The science of reading and understanding inscriptions, the science of reading and understanding inscriptions is known as epigraphy. EPIGRAPHY is known as epigraphy. Clear? Right. The first ruler to inscribe his message on the rock surface, was Ashok. Clear? Right. He was the first ruler to talk to his subjects. Through inscriptions, which are also known as edicts. The royal orders, which are also known as edicts. Okay, right. Ashokan inscriptions or edicts. Ashokan inscriptions are broadly divided Ashokan inscriptions are broadly divided into three sections, known as right point was number one, the 14 major aqueducts, the 14 major aqueducts. Second, the 14 minor aqueducts. We'll understand through map also when we'll discuss Mauryans. 14 minor aqueducts. And third, 7 pillar edicts. 7 pillar edicts. Clear? Change paragraph. Right? All these inscriptions were written. In Brahmi script and Prakrit language. Brahmi script and Prakrit language, which could be understood by masses, clear? Right, in the extreme northwestern part, in the extreme, far away, in the extreme northwestern, in the extreme, extreme, northwestern part, in the extreme northwestern part, present Pakistan and Afghanistan, in the extreme northwestern part, inscriptions were written in Kharosthi script and Aramaic language. Kharosthi script and Aramaic language. They are Iranian script. Kharosthi script and Aramaic language. I'll make you clear why Iranian here. Clear? Meanwhile, Ashoka ruled in the 3rd century BC from 269 to 232 BC. Clear? At the same time, much before him, clear, Iranians attacked the northwestern part of India in 6th century BC. Clear? This Iranian ruler was Darius I. Clear? When he attacked India in 6th century BC, he annexed the entire northwestern part of India. It became a part of Iranian Empire. Clear? Iranian Empire comprised of 28 large regions of the world. These were known as 28 satrapies of Iran. Clear? Among those 28 satrapies, the northwestern part of India was 20th satrapy of Iranian Empire, established by Darius I. Clear? And when Darius I brought northwestern region under his control, clear, in this region he promoted Iranian culture. 28. Satrapy means provinces, large areas. Clear? Satrapy. Clear? Clear. And in the northwestern part of India, Darius first introduced Iranian culture and Iranian script. Clear? This Iranian script was Kharosthi script. The language based on this script known as Aramaic language. Clear? This was done by Darius I. Clear? In fact, Iranians only introduced a term for script in the northwestern part of India. This Iranian term is known as DP. And from the word DP, we have derived a term for script in India which is known as Lipi. Clear? Lipi is an Indian term for script in India. This word Lipi has been derived from Iranian word DP, introduced by Iranians in northwestern part of India. Clear? Since that time, people in this region were well accustomed with this script and language. So Ashok also got his inscriptions written in Kharoshti and Aramaic language in northwestern part of India. Otherwise, in Indian subcontinent, his inscriptions were written in Brahmi and Prakrit language. Clear? These were major inscriptions which includes his policies. Clear? But how do we come to know about the inscriptions related to Ashok? The mystery being resolved by James Prinsep, an officer of British East India Company. Clear? Change paragraph. Right. These inscriptions remained to be a mystery. These inscriptions remained to be a mystery. Remained to be a mystery since till 19th century. Mystery till 19th century, as inscriptions mentioned the name, as inscriptions mentioned the name Devnam Piyadasi, mentioned the name Devnam Piyadasi, dear to God, close to God. Clear? Devnam Piyadasi. Clear? That this mystery was resolved. This mystery was resolved by an officer, resolved by an officer of British East India Company, by an officer of British East India Company, James Prinsep. British East India Company, James Prinsep. In 1837, James Prinsep in 1837 claimed that he identified Devnam Piyadasi. He identified Devnam Piyadasi as Ashok. Devnam Piyadasi, he identified Devnam Piyadasi as Ashok. Ashok. And historians came to know about the greatest ruler of, ancient India, greatest ruler of ancient India. Inscriptions, very important source. We know about policies of Ashok, especially Dham. We'll come to Dham of Ashok. Ashok got converted to Buddhism. He fought only one war, known through inscription, that is Kaling War, in 261 BC, conquered the region of Kaling or modern Odisha. Clear? All these informations coming from Ashokan edicts. Clear? Meanwhile, just understand, from here, inscriptions became a trend in India. Clear? After the decline of Mauryan Empire, 5 centuries is known as post-Mauryan phase, from 2nd century BC to 3rd century AD. This phase is very important for inscriptions. Clear? First of all, clear, inscriptions were written in this phase far away in eastern part of India, that is in Kaling region. Clear? In Kaling or modern Odisha, a very prominent ruler emerged in 1st century BC. This ruler was known as King Kharwale. Clear? He belonged to a dynasty which is known as Meghvarman dynasty. It is also known as Chedi dynasty. Clear? Kharwale constructed some rock-cut caves in the region of Khandagiri and Udaygiri hills. Clear? These hills are located near the modern city of Bhubaneswar. Clear? And in the hills of Khandagiri and Udaygiri, clear, he inscribed his inscriptions. Clear? These inscriptions are known as Khar whales inscription. The most important thing about this inscription is clear. These inscription mentions about the rule of Khar whale in perfect chronological order for 13 years, clear, which indicate sense of history, which indicates sense of historiography, clear, because sequential mentioning of events is found in ancient India for the first time in the inscription of Udaygiri and Khandagiri hills, which was inscribed by Khar whale, clear. From this inscription we come to know Khar whale supported and patronized Jain religion and promoted trade and commerce through Bay of Bengal up to the region of China as well, clear. All these progressive role played by Khar whale is mentioned in an inscription in the rock caves of Khandagiri and Udaygiri hills, clear. These are very important inscriptions known as Khar whale's inscription, clear. They are very important one of post-Mauryan phase. This is one example, clear. Coming to the extreme western side of India, clear. In the post-Mauryan phase, several Central Asian tribes began to enter India, starting with Indo-Greeks, clear. Indo-Greeks were followed by another tribe from Central Asia known as the Shakas, clear. Shakas went to the region of Kathiawar in Gujarat, clear. The most powerful Shaka ruler was Rudradaman, clear. Even though being a foreigner, Rudradaman issued an inscription in Kathiawar region in pure Sanskrit, clear. So even though being a foreigner, he became an expert of Sanskrit language. He issued the first Sanskrit inscription which could not be issued even by Ashokan, clear. And this inscription in pure Sanskrit located in Kathiawar region is known as Girnar inscription. It's also known as Junagadh inscription. It is also known as Takht-e-Bahi inscription, clear. And in this inscription, Rudradaman mentions, clear, that he repaired a dam on the lake Sudarshan, which was used as reservoir of water, as Kathiawar is a semi-arid region, clear. He repaired and reconstructed the dam on Sudarshan Lake with his personal resources, not by taxes collected from the people, clear, which indicate the progressive character of Shaka ruler in the region of Kathiawar, clear. We have another inscription from post-Mauryan phase, clear. In the post-Mauryan phase, we have another set of inscriptions by Satvahan rulers in Deccan, clear. Two most important inscriptions being known as Naneghat inscription, district of Pune, and second is Nasik inscription, which was inscribed by two women of Satvahan kingdom, clear. So this phase is very important for inscriptions or epigraphy, clear. First is the Jain epigraphy by Khar whale, another is a pure secular epigraphy by Shaka ruler of Western India, clear. First of all, Eastern and Western corners, clear. Post-Mauryan phase, change paragraph right next, clear. Right, inscriptions became highly prominent. Inscriptions became highly prominent during the post-Mauryan phase, 2nd century BC to 3rd century AD, 500 years. Most prominent during post-Mauryan phase. Post-Mauryan phase, clear? Right, in the extreme eastern part of India, in the extreme eastern part of India, a ruler, Khar whale, wrote an inscription within a large rock-cut cave, cave on the hills of large rock-cut cave on the hills of Udaygiri and Khandgiri. Large rock-cut caves on the hills of Udaygiri and Khandgiri. Clear? Khandgiri. Right. These caves are popularly known as Hathi Gumfa caves. Hathi means elephant. Gumfa is a term for Gufa. Gufa means cave. Clear? Popularly known as Hathi Gumfa caves. Why? Two sculptures of elephants are in the front of these caves. So therefore known as Hathi Gufa. Clear? In English writers, Hathi Gumfa caves. Clear? Inscriptions also known as Hathi Gumfa inscriptions. Clear? Right? These inscriptions mentions about the reign of Kharwel. Mentions about the reign, R-E-I-G-N, reign of Kharwel, R-E-I-G-N, reign of Kharwel for 13 years. Reign of Kharwel for 13 years, 13 years in perfect chronology. This is the most important thing. 13 years. Reign of Kharwel for 13 years in perfect chronology. Perfect chronology. This indicates signs of historiography. Perfect chronology. Clear? Right. Through this inscription, it is known. Through this inscription, it is known that Jain religion, if I recognize Jainism, it is known that Jain religion was popular in Odisha, Kaling. Jain religion was popular in Odisha, and Kharwel promoted, and Kharwel, the ruler, and Kharwel promoted maritime trade, and Kharwel promoted maritime trade, sea trade, maritime trade. Kharwel promoted maritime trade. Is there anything related to maritime trade and Jainism? We say that he promoted Jainism and he promoted maritime trade. Is there any relationship between Jainism and maritime trade? Huh? Rich merchants. Why they are rich merchants? Point is this. Why Jains are rich merchants? Why Jains are rich merchants? Why they engage in trade and commerce? Jainism? Harming like animals to the large extent, clear? Because if you look into Jain religion is strictly non-violent, clear? They don't go for any production activities, because even production includes killing of some creatures, even insects, clear? So since they adhere largely to non-violent principles, for them the best suited activity is trade and commerce. That is why they must to be rich merchants, clear? Why I am discussing this? Jainism was not very prominent in Eastern India. Why Eastern India? Because Eastern India is known for production activity, especially agriculture, clear? Jainism has been largely popular in western part of India, that is Gujarat and Rajasthan, because land is dry and semi-arid and people largely follow trade and commerce, clear? That is why Gujarat and Rajasthan, they are known for trade and commerce. Marwari communities, most of them are Jains, clear? Why Jainism is very prominent in Gujarat and Rajasthan, clear? Because trading activities can be best suited for this region, because agriculture cannot be practiced, clear? In Eastern India, agriculture is the mainstay, because land is very fertile because of water, because of alluvial soil. Here Jainism is not very prominent, but Kharwel accepted and promoted Jainism in ancient India, promoted maritime trade with eastern part of the world, including China, clear? This is unique thing related to Eastern India, and all these informations comes from Hathi Gumfa inscription, clear? Chain paragraph, clear? Right. In the extreme western part of India, in the extreme western part of India, inscription was promoted. Inscription was promoted by the Shaka ruler, Rudradaman. Shaka ruler Rudradaman. Clear? Right. Even though being a foreigner, he inscribed a pure Sanskrit inscription. He inscribed a pure Sanskrit inscription in poetic style, known as Kavya style. The Indian term is Kavya, in poetic style or Kavya style. Very important one. First inscription in Sanskrit, clear? Kavya style, clear? Right. This inscription is popularly known as Girnar, Junagadh, or Takht-e-Bahi inscription. Girnar, Junagadh, or Takht-e-Bahi inscription. Takht-e-Bahi inscription. Three names, clear? Right. This inscription mentions that Rudradaman repaired a dam on Sudarshan Lake. To reserve water. Two inscriptions, one mentioning about Jainism, another mentioning what? Progressive road, clear? Now after this, post-Mauryan phase, very important one, just understand, clear? When Mauryan Empire declined and disintegrated, some indigenous dynasties were established on its remains, clear? Three such dynasties were the Shungas in eastern India, followed by the Kanwas, and finally followed by Satvahans from 1st century AD onwards. Clear? Satvahans originated in the region of Western India. Clear? Why inscriptions for them are important? Clear? Even though Satvahans emerged in Western India along the western coast. Clear? Puranas referred to Satvahans as Andhraputras. Andhraputras means sons from Andhra region. Andhra region is located in eastern coast of India. Clear? So according to Puranas, Satvahans originated along the eastern coast of India, the Andhra coast, and they are known as Andhraputras. Clear? Historians don't accept this argument of Puranas. Clear? Because it is said that they originated from western Ghat of India and then they extended up to eastern coast, up to Andhra region, because very few settlements are there on the eastern coast. Maximum Satwahan settlements are along the western coast of India, including the capital city known as Pratishthan, located on the banks of river Godavari. Clear? So it is largely said that they originated from western side of India. Clear? To prove their origin from western India, inscriptions are also used. Clear? Two major inscriptions are related to Satvahans. These two inscriptions are known as Nanek Ghat inscription and Nasik inscription. Clear? Nanek Ghat inscription is presently located in the district of Pune. in Maharashtra, which was written by a women queen known as Queen Naganika. Clear? She was the wife of Satvahan ruler Shatkarni first, and she has glorified her husband Shatkarni first in her inscription known as Nanek Ghat inscription, again located in Maharashtra or Western India. Clear? After Shatkarni first, the most powerful ruler among the Satvahans was Gautami Putra Shatkarni. Clear? Since he was the son of a lady known as Gautami, he was named as Gautami Putra Shatkarni. Clear? And this lady, the mother of Gautami Putra Shatkarni, was Gautami Balashri. Clear? She wrote an inscription for her son, and this inscription is located again at Nasik in Western India, in which she has glorified the role played by Gautami Putra Shatkarni. She accepted Gautami Putra Shatkarni to be the lord of the entire south, also known as Dakshin Patpati. Clear? All these inscriptions clearly indicate Satvahans largely ruled in Western India, and then they proceeded towards eastern side or Andhra coast. Clear? These inscriptions are also important for one more thing. Clear? From these inscriptions only we have inferred that Satvahan society gave due respect to women in the society. Clear? Because both these inscriptions were written by women. Even Gautami Putra was named after his mother. That indicate women were given highly respectable position in the society, even though society was largely patriarchal in nature. Clear? These informations come from two inscriptions of Satvahans. One is Nanek Ghat, another is Nasik inscription. Clear? Both belonging to post-Mauryan phase. Very important for inscriptions. Write these inscriptions as well. Clear? Right. In the post-Mauryan phase, some inscriptions were written. Some inscriptions were written during the rule of Satvahans in Deccan. During the rule of Satvahans in Deccan. D-E-C-C-A-N. Satvahans in Deccan. Deccan. Clear? Right. The first major inscription is the Nanek Ghat inscription. By Queen Nanika. That mentions about Shatkarni first. That mentions about Shatkarni first. Nanek Ghat inscription. Clear? Right. Presently, this inscription is located. In the district of Pune. Very important tourist destination also. Clear? Reverse waterfall is located in the district of Pune, Maharashtra. Clear? Right. The second inscription is the Nasik inscription. Inscription by Gautami Balashri. Nasik inscription by Gautami Balashri, which mentions about Gautami Putra Shatkarni, which mentions about Gautami Putra Shatkarni. Okay, right. In importance, right? Through these inscriptions, it is accepted. Through these inscriptions, it is accepted that Satvahans originated in Western India. Satvahans originated in Western India, in contrast to the Puranas, in contrast to the Puranas that mentions Satvahans as, Andhraputras, sons of Andhra. That mentions Satvahans as Andhraputras. Just to understand the importance of inscriptions. Why inscriptions are very important. Clear? We can counter literary sources also. Clear? So Andhraputras. They are not Andhputras. They are basically from Western India. Clear? Capital also located at Pratisthan on the banks of river Godavari along western side. Clear? Important inscriptions of the post-Mauryan phase. Clear? Now, meanwhile, just understand. Clear? After post-Mauryan phase, this ended in 3rd century AD. A large kingdom was once again established in North India from the beginning of 4th century AD. This large kingdom was known as the Gupta kingdom. Clear? Guptas ruled over large parts of North India with their capital at Prayag, that is modern Prayagraj, in the northern part of India from 4th to 6th century AD. Clear? This dynasty of Guptas was founded by Chandragupta first, but the most powerful ruler among the Guptas was his son and successor Samudragupta. Clear? And Samudragupta is also known to us through a large inscription. Clear? This inscription is a biography of Samudragupta, which mentions about all achievements of Samudragupta, and this inscription is found at Prayag. Clear? On a large rock surface, all achievements of Samudragupta are mentioned in Sanskrit language, which contain 33 lines, and this has been written by court poet Hari Sen. Clear? So Hari Sen wrote the biography of Samudragupta on the rock surface. The term for biography in Sanskrit is known as Prashasti. Clear? And therefore it is also known as Prayag Prashasti. It is also known as Allahabad Prashasti. Clear? It mentions about the achievements of Samudragupta, and according to this inscription only we come to know Samudragupta defeated all major powers in northern part of India, even defeated 12 rulers of Deccan, some forest tribes, and even tribes in northwestern part of India. Clear? All his achievements are mentioned in this inscription. If the account of Hari Sen is to be believed, clear? Obviously, Samudragupta never faced any defeat throughout his military career, and therefore is also known as the Napoleon of India. Clear? This rock inscription is also important for one more thing. Clear? On the one side of the rock surface, we have violent policies adopted by Samudragupta mentioned in Sanskrit. Clear? On the same rock surface on the other side, clear, we have peaceful principles of Dhamma given by Ashoka, written in Prakrit language. Clear? So two extreme approaches are mentioned on the same rock surface. Clear? On the one side of the rock surface we have biography of Samudragupta. On the other side of the rock surface we have peaceful principles of Dhamma given by Ashoka. Ashoka's inscription is written in Prakrit. Biography of Samudragupta is written in Sanskrit. Clear? This becomes very important account about Samudragupta. Clear? This is another inscription. Clear? Coming to another one. Clear? Next major inscription. After Guptas began to rule in northern part of India, after some time, two major kingdoms were established in Deccan and South. Clear? These two kingdoms from 6th to 8th century, these two kingdoms were Pallavas and Chalukyas. Clear? Pallavas ruled over the major region of modern Tamil Nadu and Andhra region with the capital at Kanchi, also known as Kanchipuram. Clear? Chalukyas ruled over the region of modern Karnataka, clear, and Maharashtra, and they ruled with the capital city at Badami, also known as Vatapi. Clear? And the most powerful Chalukyan ruler was Pulakeshin II. Clear? And he is also known to us through his biographical account, like Samudragupta, written on a rock surface by his court poet. This court poet was Ravi Kriti. Clear? This inscription is known as Ayol Prashasti, which was written for Pulakeshin II. Now, why this Prashasti is important? Do understand, historians uses this regularly. Clear? The important thing is, it is mentioned that when Pulakeshin II was ruling over southern part of India, in North India in the beginning of 7th century, Harshvardhan began to rule with his capital at Kannauj. Clear? Harshvardhan wanted to expand towards Deccan. While he was crossing the river Narmada in Deccan, on the banks of Narmada, Harshvardhan was defeated by Pulakeshin II, which is clearly mentioned in Ayole Prashasti of Ravi Kriti. Clear? We have to rely more on this. Why it is important? Clear? Harshvardhan is known to us not through any inscription. Harshvardhan is known largely to us through his court poet Ban Bhatt, who wrote the biography of Harshvardhan, Harshcharitra. Clear? In this work, Ban Bhatt tried to glorify Harshvardhan, and in this work, Ban Bhatt writes, Harshvardhan defeated all the rulers of North India, but could not defeat Pulakeshin II. Clear? This is the way of defending your master. Clear? He writes that, he never writes he got defeated by Pulakeshin II. He writes that he could not defeat Pulakeshin II. But the reality is, Harshvardhan got defeated by Pulakeshin II, which is clearly mentioned in Ayole inscription of Ravi Kriti. Clear? So when we compare literary sources with inscriptions, we always give more importance to inscriptions, and that is why we consider inscriptions to be the lifeblood of history. Clear? Very important development related to Pulakeshin II. So two prashastis are there. One is related to Samudragupta, another is related to Pulakeshin II. Clear? This prashasti is right about inscriptions. Clear? Right. Some inscriptions in ancient India, some inscriptions in ancient India were written as biography, was written as biography or prashasti. Biography or prashasti. Prashasti. Clear? Right. The first prashasti was written. The first prashasti was written about Samudragupta. The first prashasti was written about Samudragupta through his court poet, Hari Singh, in Sanskrit. 33 lines are there. Through his court poet Hari Singh in Sanskrit. Clear? Right. It is also known as Prayag Prashasti or Allahabad Prashasti. It is also known as Prayag Prashasti or Allahabad Prashasti that mentions means political conquest. That mentions political conquest of Samudragupta, political conquest of Samudragupta. Okay, right. If account of Hari Sen is believed, if account of Hari Sen is believed, if account of Hari Sen is believed, comma, Samudragupta never faced any defeat. Samudragupta never faced any defeat in his military career, any defeat in his military career, and he was given the title of Napoleon of India. Now this title is not acceptable. Clear? He was given the title of Napoleon of India. V.S. Smith. Clear? It's a pure colonial historiography. Clear? Napoleon got defeated. Napoleon got defeated twice. Clear? Leipzig and Waterloo. Clear? So it is not the right thing to equate Samudragupta with Napoleon. Normally historians do agree in present time Napoleon should be given the title of Samudragupta of Europe. That would be more appropriate. Why? Because Samudragupta never faced any defeat. Napoleon faced defeat twice. Clear? But the title is the Napoleon of India for Samudragupta. Clear? Same rock surface which contain even principle of Dham given by Ashok. Clear? One principal policy of peace, another policy of aggression. Both on the same rock surface at Allahabad. Clear? Prayag Prashasti, change paragraph. Similar Prashasti was written in South India. Similar Prashasti was written in South India at Ayole, not in Karnataka, at Ayole, for Chalukyan ruler, Pulakeshin II. Chalukyan ruler Pulakeshin II. Chalukyan ruler Pulakeshin II. Okay. Right. According to this source, Pulakeshin II defeated the ruler of North India, Harshvardhan. Defeated the ruler of North India. Harshvardhan. Defeated the ruler of North India, Harshvardhan, on the banks of river Narmada. He was crossing Narmada on the banks of river Narmada. Harshvardhan on the banks of river Narmada. Clear? Right. However, the biography of Harshvardhan, Harshcharit, the biography of Harshvardhan. There is a clear comparison between literary and inscriptions. However, the biography of Harshvardhan, Harshcharit by Ban Bhatt, mentions, Harshcharit by Ban Bhatt mentions that Harshvardhan defeated the rulers of North India, glorifying Harshvardhan defeated the rulers of North India, but could not defeat. This is a way of defending, concealing the weakness, but could not defeat Pulakeshin II. Reality is something else, but could not defeat Pulakeshin second. The reality is Harshvardhan got defeated by Pulakeshin second. Clear? So if comparison has to be done, we'll give more importance to inscriptions, not to literary accounts. Clear? Write one sentence. This makes it clear. This makes it clear that inscriptions are more authentic than more authentic than the literary sources, more authentic than the literary sources, lifeblood of history. Clear? Sources. Important one about two processes are there. Biography. Clear? Now just understand. Clear? The last major inscription of late ancient and early medieval phase, which needs to be discussed, because after this science of epigraphy came to an end, because literary accounts began to be written by Turkish scholars with establishment of Turkish rule in India. Clear? This concept of epigraphy and inscriptions was finally continued by one empire in the early medieval phase in the extreme south. Clear? This empire was Cholas, also known as Imperial Cholas. Clear? Imperial Cholas looked after the entire South India, even Indian Ocean, from 9th to 12th century AD. Clear? And there was very important inscription written by a Chola emperor in South India. This Chola emperor was Parantaka first. Clear? The inscription written by him is known as Uttara Merur inscription. Clear? Why it is very important for all of us. Clear? Uttara Merur inscriptions mentions about local self-government under the Cholas. Clear? That is why this inscriptions off and on is always in news, because it is the earliest example of democratic decentralization in India, which is manifested through Panchayati Raj institutions. That is why in Man Ki Baat, our Prime Minister takes the name of Uttara Merur inscription repeatedly, which was promoted by the Cholas. Claim in this Uttara Merur inscription of Parantaka first, it is mentioned that local self-government at village level was managed by different committees. Clear? These committees had elected members, and even the eligibility criteria of these members of committees are mentioned in Uttara Merur inscription. Clear? There are three eligibility criteria. One is age criteria, another is property criteria, and third is intellectual criteria. Clear? Age criteria says a person was eligible to join this committee or elected to be committee if a person was above 35 years of age but below 70 years of age. Clear? Property criteria was a person must be owner of at least 1.5 acres of land. Intellectual criteria was a person must be well versed in Sanskrit and Tamil both. Clear? Then only by fulfilling these criteria, person was eligible to be elected in committees, and these committees looked after local administration under Imperial Cholas. Clear? All these informations coming from Uttara Merur inscription of Parantaka first. It is the last inscription because with establishment of Turkish rule, clear, writing inscriptions came to an end. Even though they continued the practice of writing on the walls of religious places like mosque and tombs, clear, but that comes under Islamic calligraphy. That was not to give any historical information, clear. So inscriptions comes to an end with Imperial Cholas in the early medieval phase, clear. Coming to the last one, very important one, clear, right? The science of inscriptions was continued. The science of inscriptions was continued by the Imperial Cholas, continued by the Imperial Cholas in the extreme south, deep south, in the extreme south during early medieval phase, in the extreme south during early medieval phase. Early medieval phase, clear? Right, a Chola emperor, Parantaka first, a Chola emperor, Parantaka first, inscribed, Uttara Merur inscription, inscribed, Uttara Merur inscription, which mentions about the local self-government, as a unique feature, local self-government as a unique feature of Chola administration, unique feature of Chola administration. Clear? Right. According to this inscription, local self-government was managed by several committees, okay, committees, right? The eligibility criteria for the members, the eligibility criteria for the members to be elected in committees, were Uttara Merur inscription were right point wise. Number one, first criteria, clear? A person was to be above 35 years of age. A person was to be above 35 years of age, but not above 70 years. Second one, property qualification. A person must be an owner of at least minimum 1.5 acres of land, ACRES, acres of land. Third, education qualification. A person must be well versed with VERSED, must be well versed with Sanskrit and Tamil. Clear? Chain paragraph. According to Uttara Merur inscription, the most important committee was the tank committee. Most important committee was the tank committee to maintain water storage. Was the tank committee to ensure water supply round the year. Continuously, water supply round the year. Even now, Tamil Nadu is known for tank irrigation. Clear? Tank committee. Clear? Major information through Uttara Merur inscription. These are major inscriptions throughout ancient time, starting with Ashok, ending with imperial Cholas. We don't have inscriptions in medieval history, starting with Delhi Sultanate. Clear? So major archaeological sources found through digging of the earth, even inscriptions has been found through digging of the earth, and these are in form of artifacts, coins and inscriptions. Clear? The next major source of historiography to reconstruct ancient Indian history are the literary sources. Clear? First of all, here we'll understand about broad classification of literary sources. Clear? Literary sources marks the beginning of historical phase. Clear? So with literary sources, prehistory and proto-history is replaced by true historical phase, as sources are largely literary accounts. Clear? And with the beginning of historical phase, literary sources began to be used. Clear? These literary sources of ancient India, first of all, are broadly classified into two categories. One is known as indigenous literary sources, another is known as foreign accounts. Clear? Because some foreigners who came to India, they has also left their accounts in India, especially the Chinese Buddhist pilgrims like Fahian and Yuan Sang. Clear? So two broad classification is indigenous sources and then foreign accounts. Within indigenous sources, we have further classification. Clear? One classification known as religious sources or literature. Clear? Then we have secular sources or literature. Clear? And within religious sources, we have sources related to Brahmanism, Buddhism and Jainism. Clear? So we need to discuss about all the literary sources related to Brahmanism, Jainism and Buddhism. Under secular category, we discuss many sources, and these sources include even scientific works like Aryabhattam, Charak Samhita, Sushruta Samhita, which mentions about medical science, astronomy, even geometry and mathematics. Clear? These are known as secular sources. Clear? So we will proceed with literary accounts from here. First of all, we'll discuss about indigenous sources, and lastly we'll go to foreign accounts. Clear? Write the classification, the flow chart first. Clear? Write next paragraph. Clear? Right, apart from archaeological sources, there are literary sources to reconstruct, the history of ancient India, reconstruct the history of ancient India. Clear? Right. These sources are broadly classified. Into indigenous sources, and foreign accounts. Indigenous sources and foreign accounts. Clear? Right. The indigenous sources are further subdivided. Into religious and secular sources. Yeah. Right. The religious sources include works related to Brahmanism, Buddhism and Jainism. We'll come to secular literature, scientific works as well. Clear? And then finally we'll come to foreign accounts. Clear? Now coming to indigenous, the most important. Clear? Sources related to Brahmanism, also known as Brahmanical religion, which later on took the form of Hinduism in ancient society. Clear? Coming to Brahmanical faith. Clear? Brahmanism started in India with the arrival of Aryans to India around 1500 BC, they began to compose hymns in praise of gods and goddesses, which took the form of a work known as Rig Veda. Clear? Rig Veda is the earliest written work, or rather literary source of India. Rig Veda is followed by three other Samhitas known as Sam Veda, Yajur Veda and Athar Veda. Clear? These four Samhitas has further explanatory notes in another work known as Brahmanical literature or Brahmanas. Brahmanas has another component of Aranyakas, and Aranyakas has another component of Upanishads, which are purely philosophical in nature. Clear? All these works combined together is known as Vedic literature. Clear? So Brahmanism largely is based on Vedic literature, which has four major parts. One is four Samhitas, second are Brahmanas, which are purely orthodox in nature, there are Anarakas, which are partly interpretive in nature, and then we have Upanishads, which are purely interpretive and philosophical in nature. Clear? Which will come to four Samhitas, then the Brahmanas, then Aranyakas, and then finally Upanishads. Clear? These are Vedic literature. Then Vedic literature is followed by some commentaries. These commentaries are known as basically Smritis and Shastras. The most important Shastra being the Dharma Shastra. Clear? Welcome to Dharma Shastra. Smriti is also like Manu Smriti. Clear? First of all, Vedic literature. Please. They comes under history. Proto-history basically Indus Valley. Clear? In proto-history ends with Indus Valley because we have a script. That script has not been deciphered. That script is known as pictographic script. Clear? That is why Indus Valley is known as proto-historical phase. Writing tradition was known, script has not been deciphered. History starts with Brahmanism, with the arrival of Aryans. History starts with proper literary work. The first literary work being Rig Veda. Vedic literature. Clear? We'll come to Brahmanical literature. Clear? We'll continue from here. Clear? We'll continue from here tomorrow. Clear? We'll start with the indigenous literature, the Brahmanical literature. It's fine. Clear? Anything to be asked? Are major things clear? Inscriptions are clear to all of you, which are very important. Importance of coins. Concept of artifacts is clear. You need to be very clear in conceptual clarity. Clear? We'll be coming to all these things when we continue with classes on history. We'll be using this sources. Clear? We'll start with Brahmanical literature. Thank you.